We're counting down the 10 weirdest Chris Hemsworth facts you never saw coming. From family nicknames and shocking behind-the-scenes risks to real-life legends hiding in his family tree, some of these surprises even beat the plot twists in his movies. We will also mention the National Geographic documentary that features Chris Hemsworth and his father, a personal journey that reveals unexpected family stories. Which bizarre connection or hidden talent lands at number 1? Let's kick off the list with a fate-defying coincidence that starts his story on Thor's Day. In the National Geographic documentary featuring Chris Hemsworth and his father, we get a closer look at his life. August 11th, 1983 was the day Chris Hemsworth was born. It was a Thursday. Now here is where it gets wild. Thursday is not just any day of the week. In Old Norse, it is called Thor's Dagur, literally Thor's Day. The English word comes straight from the Norse god of thunder, the same hammer-swinging legend Hemsworth would bring to life nearly 3 decades later. So before he ever picked up Mjolnir or wore a red cape, Chris Hemsworth entered the world on the day named for the god he would eventually play. The odds of that kind of cosmic overlap are almost as rare as lightning striking twice in the same spot. Born on Thor's Day, destined to become Thor. Sometimes the universe has a sense of humor. Before he became the hammer-wielding Avenger, Chris Hemsworth was just a little kid in Australia trying to say his own name. Christopher proved to be a challenge. Every time he tried, it came out as something closer to Kip Tadair. His family found it so endearing, and probably a little funny, that they started calling him Kip for short. The nickname stuck, following him through childhood, and even popping up in family stories years later. It is a reminder that even the world's mightiest heroes start out stumbling over their words, surrounded by people who love them anyway. For Chris, Kip was not just a name, it was a badge of belonging, a family joke that turned into a lifelong term of affection. Hemsworth's Australian roots run deeper than most fans realize. His uncle by marriage, Rod Ansell, survived 56 days in the Northern Territory outback in 1977, a real-life adventure that inspired the character of Mick Crocodile Dundee in the 1986 film. Ansell's story became a national legend after he recounted his ordeal on Australian television, with tales of sleeping on hotel floors and puzzling over city gadgets. The connection does not end there. Ansell married Joanne Van Oos, Chris's maternal aunt, making his sons first cousins to the Hemsworth brothers. Years later, Chris reportedly bought Paul Hogan's Malibu home, the actor who brought Crocodile Dundee to life on screen. From outback survival stories to Hollywood real estate, Hemsworth's family tree is tangled with Australian folklore and pop culture icons. The legend of Crocodile Dundee is not just a movie for Chris Hemsworth, it is part of his family's own wild history. In 2006, Chris Hemsworth traded his surfboard for sequins and stepped onto the stage of Dancing with the Stars Australia. Paired with professional dancer Abby Ross, he lasted 6 weeks before being eliminated. Years later, those dance floor memories followed him to Hollywood in an unexpected way. As Marvel Studios considered him for the role of Thor, rumors swirled that Chief Executive Officer Kevin Feige was uneasy about the old television clips resurfacing. The concern was that fans might stumble across Hemsworth's cha-cha and question whether he could really embody the Norse god of thunder. While there is no direct quote from Kevin Feige confirming sleepless nights over dance routines, the story stuck around, reminding everyone that in Hollywood, even a reality show stint can throw a superhero's destiny into doubt. For Hemsworth, the risk was real. One misstep, and the hammer might have slipped through his fingers. During casting for Thor, the Hemsworth family rivalry took center stage. While Chris was busy working on Cabin in the Woods, directors Drew Goddard and Joss Whedon were discussing the top contenders for the God of Thunder. Liam Hemsworth's name appeared on that shortlist, but Chris's did not. That detail stung. Chris, already frustrated by a first audition that went nowhere, decided to give it one more shot. He re-auditioned, this time with the kind of determination that only a little brother's drive can spark. According to widely reported accounts, his second try impressed Marvel enough to land him the role. The part that nearly slipped away became his signature, all because he refused to watch from the sidelines, while his brother got the spotlight. Sometimes, sibling rivalry is not just family drama, it is the fuel that changes everything. During the long days of filming Avengers: Infinity War, Chris Hemsworth took on an unexpected role: bartender for Tom Holland. Holland, who plays Spider-Man, has a famously youthful face. When he's clean-shaven, he barely looks old enough to order a soda, let alone a pint. Cast and crew joked that he could pass for a teenager, which made grabbing drinks after work a bit awkward. Hemsworth stepped in, buying Holland's drinks whenever the cast went out together. It became a running gag on set, with Hemsworth happy to play the responsible older brother. The gesture wasn't just about getting around age checks. It was a sign of the easy camaraderie and support among the Marvel cast. For Holland, it meant less hassle at the bar. For Hemsworth, it was just another way to look after his on-screen teammates. Tom Hiddleston and Chris Hemsworth have spent years locked in battle on screen. Thor and Loki, brothers at war in the Marvel Universe. Off camera, though, their story could not be more different. From the very first Thor film, Hemsworth and Hiddleston built a friendship that goes far beyond co-stars. Interviews over the years reveal a pattern: family dinners, inside jokes, and a bond that only deepened with each movie. Hemsworth has even called Hiddleston an honorary Hemsworth, a title reserved for those closest to the family circle. The cast and crew noticed it too, how Hiddleston seemed to fit in at Hemsworth gatherings, as if he had always belonged. Their connection is so strong, it has become a running joke among fans and the Marvel team alike. For Hemsworth, friendship is not just about shared scenes or press tours. It is about welcoming people into the fold, blood or not. Chris Hemsworth's hammer swings didn't just come from hitting the gym. To give Thor a fighting style that felt both powerful and unique, Hemsworth and his stunt team took inspiration from an unlikely source: heavyweight boxing legend Mike Tyson. Hemsworth spent hours studying Tyson's matches, breaking down his explosive footwork and rapid head movement. The goal was not to turn Thor into a boxer, but to capture the raw, rotational power that made Tyson's punches so devastating. Offset, Hemsworth chopped wood, old-school lumberjack style, to build the same kind of shoulder and core strength needed for those spinning hammer attacks. The combination paid off. Every time Thor launches Mjolnir across the screen, there is a bit of Tyson's signature ferocity and a whole lot of practical muscle behind it. It is a blend of boxing ring mechanics and raw physical labor, all aimed at making a superhero's moves look as real as possible. For all his Aussie pride, Chris Hemsworth has only filmed one major movie in Australia, and that was by his own request. When production began on Thor Ragnarok, Hemsworth pushed Marvel Studios to bring the shoot to Queensland's Gold Coast. The studio agreed, setting up at Village Roadshow Studios and turning local beaches and bushland into the backdrop for Asgardian battles. This was not just a homecoming for Hemsworth. It brought jobs and excitement to the region, with Screen Queensland reporting a surge in local film industry activity. For fans and locals alike, seeing a global blockbuster unfold on familiar sand and surf was a point of national pride. Hemsworth's influence did not just shape the look of Ragnarok, it gave Australia a starring role on the world stage, if only for one wild cosmic adventure. On the inside of Chris Hemsworth's left forearm, 3 small tattoos tell a story only his family could write. Each design, a Dharma wheel and 2 simple stars, was drawn by his daughter India when she was still little. Instead of choosing a professional artist or a trendy design, Hemsworth asked India to put pen to paper. He took her childhood sketches straight to the tattoo studio, making her art a permanent part of his life. The Dharma wheel, with its roots in Buddhist tradition, sits alongside two stars, all rendered with the honest lines of a child's hand. For Hemsworth, these tattoos are more than ink. They are a piece of his daughter's world that he carries every day. A quiet promise that family comes first, no matter how far fame or fortune might take him. Across all 10 entries, one truth stands out. Chris Hemsworth's story is shaped by unlikely twists, family ties, and playful contradictions. Fame has not erased his quirks, it has amplified them. You may remember the National Geographic documentary featuring Chris Hemsworth and his father, which gives a rare, honest look at their relationship and why these stories matter. Which fact surprised you most?